Good evening, everyone. Thank you for allowing me to be a virtual presence tonight and not live. It turns out I've got a conflicting meeting about this same time, so I was unable to be at both. In this particular case, I'm glad to give you the recorded version if you'll give me just a couple of minutes. Again, it's great to be here, and thanks for the opportunity. I want to thank our whole staff for accomplishing so far a pretty substantial goal this year. Lolo School has managed to remain open on a regular 5-day-a-week, full-day schedule the entire school year. It has not been without an enormous amount of effort from every one of our staff members, a lot of cooperation from students and parents, and what we can tell you is that it's really been worthwhile. Again, a lot of work, and we're still not out of the woods yet. We're still chasing COVID cases, contact tracing, and those sorts of things. We're still doing extra cleaning and scrubbing and sanitizing. We still have limited operations and cohort groups and seating charts and all those kinds of things, but it's paying off. All those efforts and more have made it possible for us to keep school open this year, and it's something that our staff and our school board is really, really proud of. Those protocols that we've put in place are working. On the note of health and safety, our school board voted this last week that for the 21-20 next school year, we will offer only in-person instruction. So that means no more distance learning or learning from the kitchen table. With that said, our school board is very much in tune with the idea that if over the next several months, the public health conditions warrant a change, they will absolutely consider that. So this is pretty firm, but they're well with the understanding that if in order to keep kids and staff safe, we need to do something different or make an adjustment, their minds are open to that as trustees. So at this point, we're planning on everybody being here in person, and it'll be wonderful. It's too early to tell what other kinds of protocols may be in place at that time. We're going to wait till much closer before we get to those answers. But it's lovely to hear that we may be with everybody in person next school year. It warms my heart. What's also great is that we're offering track and field this season. We have offered some limited sports up until now, but they've been more internal sports, so kids working on skills and practicing and those sorts of things without competitions among schools. And with track this year, we've got over 50 kids and several coaches who are on the team, and we're looking at actually being able to do some inter-school competition. So our students will be competing, running, jumping, throwing against kids from other schools. Track meets will be a little bit different than before. They're going to be smaller, they're going to be more quick, with a limited group of kids, again, because that whole contact tracing thing is still real. We still have new cases in Missoula County all the time, and when you concentrate people together, those risks go up. So we're being really mindful of that, but we're really excited to have kids out for track and field, getting to do what kids love to do, running, jumping, throwing, and competing against their peers. Also want to let you know that the school calendar for next year has been set, and if you'd like to take a look at that, it's on our website, www.loloschools.org. Some of you may be interested to know in our progress with the new building. In the last couple of months, there are a couple of things that have gone on sort of as parallel processes. The biggest one, I would say, is the schematic design. So what that means is the architects, A&E Design, has led a team of about 15 people from the school and school-related groups through the schematic design process. So that builds upon the pre-bond work. The pre-bond work kind of gave us the overall shell kind of concept, and the schematic design really gets into a lot more detail on how will the building really specifically be arranged, how will it be arranged on the school site, and what other changes to the site plan might we need to make. So that committee met from January through April, 5 times plus some subcommittee meetings in the interim, and ultimately that schematic design was presented to the school board in about a 90-page book last week. After a lot of conversation, the board approved that design. That's also available on the website if you'd like to take a look at it. the schematic design, even though it's been approved by the board, will continue to change. It'll continue to change through the pre-construction and conceivably a little bit even through the construction process, because those needs come up, whether it's based on the cost of materials, a new need comes up, something is a surprise that we didn't anticipate. But at any rate, that schematic design is available for you to look at if you'd like to. And it has been vetted by the school board and is the result of the recommendation of the architects who are working with the schematic design committee, a pretty robust group of folks. Along with that schematic design, there was a parallel process going on where the school board selected a general contractor construction manager. So this is selecting the firm who would act as the pre-construction construction manager, the construction management team during the build, and the general contractor for the build. Don't get this confused with these are the folks who are going to do all the work, because that's not the case. So the GCCM selection process involved several different components. First was the qualifications. So any firm that wanted to be considered had to submit a statement of qualifications, and that was either a pass-fail based on a committee of folks who were scoring those. Those that passed were invited to submit a proposal. The proposal included two pieces. That's both the project approach, how will they tackle a project like this, and also what are their costs and fees as the construction manager. Again, don't get that confused with the cost to build. It's what are they charging as the construction management team. All of those were all scored. The top 4 firms, based on all those scores, were invited to interview. And we ended up actually having only 3 interviews because one of the firms dropped out. But after the interviews were concluded, the interviews were also scored by that committee. And ultimately, all of the scores from the process were added together from those 3 top finalists, and the firm with the highest score was chosen. In this case, that happened to be Jackson Contractor Group, our neighbors just between here and Missoula. So we're really glad to have Jackson on board. The school feels like they're going to give us great value for what the project is and for the community. And we're excited to get them on for the pre-construction process, because a good contractor can lend a lot of expertise as far as planning goes, material, buildability, those sorts of things, and can help steer the pre-construction process so we end up with fewer surprises during construction. Lastly, we haven't yet sold the school site, but I know that our brokers are working hard on that. They're getting a lot of press out there. We've had a media release. There's been a survey online just to get the community's feel on maybe what could happen with the existing site. And I know they're directly pushing this property before specific developing groups and out to lots and lots of potential customers. So we appreciate that. And the school board's really interested in getting good value for this. And we're all excited to see what kind of offers might come in over the next few months. It's an exciting time. With that, I'll hang it up. Thank you again for your time. I really appreciate it. And thanks for your continued support of Lolo School.